I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start the meeting. I just wanted to take a moment to for fellow legislator Lord Megano Cornelius passed away yesterday. So we'll just have a little moment of silence for heartfelt thought. And keep her family in your thoughts. So with that, let's start with the approval of the minutes.
You make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, just one. The resolution authorizing a budgetary modification, Department of Social Services, legal fees for the remaining of the calendar year 2023. There's a request to transfer $43,000 to legal fees from salaries and wages to cover legal fees for the remainder of the year. The department has had at least one vacant attorney position for the entire year, and the fee-for-service attorneys have been utilized to help assist with the legal department's workload. So this is a budget neutral change. I'll look for a motion on HS1.
Lord. Second.
Any questions for Stacy on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? HS2 is a resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services, Adult and Children's Services additional hours. This is a budget mod that would move $26,000 from salaries and wages to additional hours. Services staff have been working additional hours to meet the demand of higher caseloads due to unfilled vacancies. Though our efforts are being made to fill vacant positions, there will still be a need for current staff to work additional hours to meet the mandated deadlines until new employees have been sufficiently trained and are productive. Services wages are reimbursed at 62% state and 38% local. The local portion for this budget modification is being moved from unspent salary and wages. It's also budget neutral. Look for a motion on HS2. Any questions for Stacy? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. HS3 is a resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services, other supplies and expenses. This budget modification is to move $67,000 from salaries and wages to supplies and expenses. Administration supply budget is used to purchase paper, staples, and other office supplies, along with SUNY Oswego training and educational services. These expenses are reimbursed at 50% federal, 25% state, 25% local. It's also budget neutral. Look for a motion on HS3.
I'll move. Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. HS4, it's a resolution awarding professional services contract RFP 23-OFA-001, registered dietitian services. This was sent to 9 different vendors. There was one response, Beth McCarthy. She seems to have been highly regarded and awarded a maximum annual fee of $24,580, working at $68.98 per hour. I'll look for a motion on HS4.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Sarah, so this is something that we, how often have you had to change? You always have a dietitian on.
It is. It's a requirement for our nutrition program, and we're required 15 hours per week of registered dietitian services, and that's split between Beth and OCO. They're registered dietitian, so they'd love to do 7.5 hours. The previous contract was at $50 an hour, so it was a little bit of a jump, but for all the years that her contract was, she never requested an increase.
Was Beth on before?
She is a registered dietitian right now. Prior to that, it was,
That's irrelevant. I was just curious.
yeah, no, she has been for our last contract period was that, and she was the only respondent for it. And part of this, she included her mileage in it, so we don't pay her separate for mileage to go around the county, so the hourly rate reflects her mileage as well.
So she's physically with you 15 hours a week then?
She's doing she's at the congregate sites. She goes and does education at the meal sites. She monitors the kitchen. She monitors the home delivered meal routes. But she has 7.5 hours a week.
Okay.
And then
Got it.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. HS5 is a resolution authorizing budgetary modification, additional community services for the elderly. Community service for the elderly is CSE, and expanded in-home services for the elderly program, EISEP, grant funding for the Office of Aging. Okay, so those are some pretty hefty new acronyms for me there. This is to amend the budget to allocate an additional $58,000 of expanded $58,140 of expanded in-home services for the elderly program, and then that is grant funding, and another $33,818 of community services for the elderly, or CSE grant funding to the Office of Aging for the 2023 operating budget. I'll look for a motion on that.
I'll make that motion. Second.
We got first and seconds. Questions for Sarah on that? All right, we are cruising today.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is it for our resolutions today. Let's go to reporting departments, and Eric, you're on first today.
I don't have a whole lot. We did the informational event last month, which we didn't get a lot of people to come, but it went over really well. I probably spent about 3 hours at Central Square answering questions for people. So we're going to start pushing to do that more often. The Oswego clinic, it's getting busier and busier. So starting through the 1st of January, I'm going to be going there 4 days a month instead of 2. It's getting so busy that I'm not even going to get lunch. I'm not getting out of there until 4:30. We have a ton of people. The doctor that works there is awesome. He brings me guys constantly. So I have got to extend the times out there so that we're out there more often. Because once I see them in the clinic, we end up getting these guys in the office at Fulton as well. So we're approaching probably between 35 and 40 open cases a piece in my office. So
Quality over quantity on that one, huh?
correct.
I think that's good. Does anybody have questions for Eric? All right, Phil, down yesterday's date, not today's.
My watch is behind today. Sorry.
Yeah, that's easy these days. I don't know if you want to correct them, but
Sorry.
that should.
Comes with signing the day. I didn't. Thanks.
So happy birthday to my sister. It was her birthday yesterday, so. Okay, we are on to Brian Chetney, the Oswego City County Youth Bureau Program Department update.
All right, let me do that first.
It's up to you.
Sure. So I got a PowerPoint, just some pictures for the infrastructure updates, just so you guys can have some pictures of what's happening.
Down to one. Yeah.
All right. So out for Camp Hollis, they started two things. The lodge there, you can see a couple of heating units, splits for the heating. They're just about done with the renovation. That deck is new from the last year, as you can see, and those heating units and the doors with the deck go along with that. That grant is just about wound up. We'll finish that up by the end of the calendar year. It's the man-made road for the bluff project they're working on. The Bluff project, if you have been around for a while, it's a really weird sight to see. There's no fencing or anything at Camp Hollis right now. It is a weird view, but as you'll see, this is some of the work that they're doing out there. They've been out there working pretty much every day. To the bluff here, they are doing a lot of extensive work there. There's big rocks they brought in that they put on the shoreline. They're really, I mean, they're huge, and they've been continuing to do that, but that's part of the project they're working on out there. What?
I see they brought in the smaller equipment there.
Yeah, they got a lot of heavy equipment out there, that's for sure.
So where are they getting riprap from, you know?
I do not know where they're getting riprap.
That's the big stuff, the riprap.
And then it's more of the rock and things that they're working on to stabilize the shoreline. And then that's indoors again. You can see that's the new doorway with the deck, and then up high you see the splits for the heating and AC units that they have installed. They're almost done. They're working on installation and such right now on that project. That piece of equipment right there, we actually had to put a huge hole in the wall to get in because it wouldn't fit through any door. So they had to do that and patch back up, and it looks good.
Well, did you put a door on?
Nope, you'll see right, well, you can see this part right here, that's where they cut it. They literally cut it about the size of what it was going to take to get it in and put it back up. So that's where that is. Which used to be our storage room for Hollis, so now we got to figure out where we're going to store a lot of things because that's now a mechanical room. This is Zerby. So this is the Paco Malone building. It's the first building you see when you go to Zerby, and as you can see that P&G is almost done with the work. So when this is finished, and hopefully it will be done soon, this will be on the docket as a rental piece. We're figuring it can hold between 50 and 100. We don't have the code done yet. Probably closer to 50, but it'll be used for yearly again for people to rent, and this will be a heated building, so we'll be open year-round for rentals for that. That's one of the improvements we're doing at Zerby. This is the Britton building. As you can see, the new roof that was put on, the siding will be next, but this is again right when you first come in, the Welcome Center with Zerby. This is the caretaker's building again with the new roof. The wrapping of the building will be next. And then when they wrap the outside, they'll be like this. This is the Paco Malone building, so they'll all match this as you go through. So that's the Paco Malone building. Another view of the Paco building. This is the garage area, the storage area, so you can see that's pretty much completed. They did the whole wrapping it over and put a whole new roof on. So this is where obviously we keep all the equipment and machinery. That's the side view of it. So again, something you see right up front when you first come in. Legends. So you're going to see some pictures of Legends now. This is the construction going on with there. Again, a lot of heavy equipment out there. To my understanding, the turf is about ready to go down. But these are just some pictures of the work that's been done out there or is currently being done out there.
Looks like pretty fine stuff in there.
Putting in the pieces that the turf will be connected to. That is again the mechanical building. It's kind of a joke picture for me because if you walked in there before last week, that place looked like a bomb had went off in there or something. It was very full of everything. So that's a picture almost proved that it's been cleaned. But that's the mechanical room.
Is that
That was Legends.
okay.
And this right here is the parking lot. So if you've been in the parking lot at Legends before this, it did not look anything like that. So that is what's going on with the paving at Legends. And that's more of it. You see it's quite a large parking lot. To my understanding, Champions is going to stripe it in the spring. So that won't be an expense on us. That'll be on Champions. There's the gate that we're also, this gate you can see has got some damage to it. And the other gate also with the paving are two things we've addressed as well for the upcoming season. And that is it for the slideshow. Other updates I have, We did 2 family wellness events, one in Fulton and one in Oswego. We basically shared information about what we're doing, what other youth programs are doing, and with that, they're able to, by concluding an informational packet, they're able to sign up for the Splash Indoor Water Park. So we had some good turnouts for that. My office last week did the City of Oswego's tree lighting, and they had a quite extensive between the letter writing campaigns and the whole portion of it. We estimate there was about 375 children that visited Santa that day. We had like I said, the coloring contest, letters to Santa. There's almost 600 of those. Our pros program at the middle school, we currently have 14 students they're seeing. This is the alternative to suspension program, so it's been going well, working with our students at the middle school. Again, this is a program we're looking to duplicate within the other districts once we get it completely established. The Splash program, the reading program, December 1st is the first that kids can start to actually hand in the packets of what they've read, but as of right now we have 575 children signed up for that whole reading package to be able to get a free ticket into Splash if they complete the reading requirements. We had a Christmas party in Hannibal recently last week. There was 100 people who attended that. And we have the Fulton this week, and you'll see a flyer for there. We have the Fulton Family Christmas Party. There's 150 family kids signed up for that so far. And lastly, our Governor's Youth Council, which I share the Southern Tier, Central, and North Country. We presented to the governor's office last week, and we moved on to the next round. What we talked about is they're talking about mental health issues, and the group of kids I work with are working on the Regents exams and mental health issues. As you may or may not be aware of, a lot of states don't require Regents exams, and it's an interesting concept they put together, the pressures of Regents. What's the value versus not for the extra work you put in, because a lot of colleges don't recognize them. So it's just a lot of extra work you put in. And so it was an interesting concept that the state found eye-opening, I believe, so they moved it on to the next level. So that's kind of what's happening here. I'll just pass these along as we continue on, but there's everything in here from the Fulton party, the which I just spoke about before, the youth night for Oswego State. We did hockey, now it's basketball for the women and men's. The Christmas parade coming up this Sunday, not this Sunday, but Sunday the 17th. As you heard me talking with Legislator Conley, that he's very involved in that. I know he's got a lot of hours into it. So if anybody wants to light up themselves or their car and get in that parade, then it will be appreciative. Again, we have a kids' Christmas dance coming up as well, trying to keep the kids busy. That's the night before, the Friday the 16th. And then we also have a Christmas writing contest that we are currently working with our young people to do, people on the holiday traditions in us. So very busy with that, and our Miracle program is also accepting applications for members and sites as we move into the new year. I had a meeting this morning with the new superintendent of Oswego, and we have some plans for this summer to start some new programming, working with the school district. So should be good.
Any questions for Brian? Keeping that color printer going too. Yeah.
We have a nice Camp House color printer, but they're not using currently. So.
Okay, Sarah.
So we're winding down with Medicare's open enrollment. Thursday is the last day of open enrollment. We've served about 300 people so far during the open enrollment. Anybody who we could delay, we're doing so. We'll be assisting after December 7th. There are some people, if they have extra help, and they don't need to make a decision by December 7th. So we will still be busy for the next few weeks as we try to address all of those requests as well. Anybody who we are unable to get a hold of or assist because of all of our appointment slots are taken, they will be referred on to the state office for the aging. They're working with different agencies to assist the people that we can't offer that assistance to. Our HEAP, we received 339 applications as of this morning. I don't know what came in the mail today. We have about 29 that are in our office right now that we're working with people, assisting them getting all the documentation that's needed so that the application can be promoted to social services for approval. But we are also still going out in the community for anybody who can't make it into our office, so to offer that assistance.
If people had applied and received HEAP in a previous year, does that information stay there, or you have to start the whole thing over again?
It stays, but we do have to get updated income information. So, and it depends on how much of the income changes, but if they did receive the HEAP benefit last year, then that's one of the early outreach applications. They receive those applications in the mail to themselves end of August, and then we start processing them at that time. HEAP doesn't officially open this year until November 1st, so they wouldn't get any benefit until after November 1st, but we can start working on it, comparing it to what is in the system.
Is
So
339, is that, where does that relate to previous years?
Last year, for the whole season, we received 489 applications through our office.
I thought it was a little low.
It's low, but not for this time of year.
And
We still, because it won't close until the spring, so we have a lot of time yet. We find a lot of applications sometimes come in after family comes home.
it closes because it's a capped amount, correct?
Correct. There's a set timeline, but it closes with a cash amount, yeah.
So there's an income threshold?
Yes.
That's what I was just gonna ask. What is the income threshold on that? I'm asking because I deliver fuel oil part-time, and some of these houses that I'm delivering to that are HEAP last year, I can't afford. So I'm just curious how that number comes up.
Well, it's a state number. They provide it, and depends on how many people are in the household as well.
Okay.
So everyone in the household, their income is all included for that. And I'm sorry, off the top of my head, I don't know what.
If you go to the DSS pages of our website, all the HEAP and all the other income-based programs, they're all listed there.
Okay.
We have it on our Facebook page as well, but just the number off the top of my head, I don't have.
Any other questions on HEAP? Thank you. You can keep going.
Okay, we received 150 nominations for our Santa for Seniors program, so we're getting gifts in now. Our hall, if you come up to our office, you'll see our hall is getting filled with gifts, as well as we're collecting food bags to get out to participants as well. So it's getting pretty jam-packed. We will be delivering gifts the week of December 18th, leading up to Christmas, and please let me know if anybody wants to go out and do any deliveries in your areas. We do have participants pretty much all over the county, but a predominance of the nominations are in Fulton and Oswego. But you're more than welcome if you'd like to go out and see the joy that gifts bring to our seniors. You're more than welcome just to give me a shout, and we'll get it arranged so you can go out with one of our staff to deliver those. We're also, Lemoyne College reached out to our office regarding the Santa for Seniors program, and Elizabeth Weimer will be presenting information to their the Physician Assistance Program participants, students there. They're also, after she presents to them, they're getting personal hygiene bags together for them, and we'll be able to distribute those to our participants as well. And it's an ongoing collaboration they want to start with us with their Physician Assistance Program students. Our caregiver luncheon was held on November 15th. We invited 20 of our caregivers. Only 10 of them were able to participate. Some of them had last minute. They couldn't come because of last minute issues with the person they're caregiver for, but that was fully funded. We received a grant from National Grid, as well as we did some fundraising, and it was very well received by the people who were able to attend. The building is in the process of going under its renovation, our building on Bunner Street, soon, very soon. So I've moved 5 of my staff that are in offices that are closest to where the construction will be down to the health department, just down the hall. They have some space desks available. So I moved them down there. Case managers that do a lot of phone calls with our clients, want to make sure they can be able to hear them. We don't know if additional staff will have to be moved as well. I'm now hearing that it might be very loud with the jackhammers and concrete saws. So I don't know how productive we'll be able to be with that noise going on. But because it is a public office and we have a lot of people coming into our office, I have a concern with that. So we're working with Rick from Buildings and Grounds to see what we might have to do. Also, because we have storage issues, we had some of our materials, our durable medical equipment that we loan out down the hall where they're starting the construction. We did reach out to Arise to see if they could take that because we did not have storage for it. So they took our wheelchairs and our walkers and some canes that we have for a loan program. They have a loan program at Arise as well. So we got it out of our space, and it's still, we'll just refer people over to their office if they need any of that equipment. We've been getting the food bags that were provided by Oswego Elks Club. We've been getting them out and training people who show as food insecure, people who come into our office. We've distributed bags to also out in the community, anybody who called looking for food resources, we get bags to them as well. I didn't count up all the bags because they came into us boxed, so I'm thinking we have over 100 bags total. We've distributed 21 so far. So if you do know anybody who's 60 or older who is food insecure, we certainly can get a bag of food out to them. It's shelf-stable items. It's enough for, a day or two. It's not a lot of items in it, but it can really make a difference for someone who doesn't have any food. And we did work with a mobility manager. We saw recently there was a news release regarding the Aldi shopping bus trip to Topaz Towers. We worked with the mobility manager and OCO Transportation, and our OFA curb-to-curb transportation is what's supporting that, to be able to get the seniors from Topaz Towers to Aldi's on a dedicated run. So we're very happy to be able to see that happen. And Heather was very instrumental in making that happen herself. And also we're celebrating another 100th birthday this week. So we have another client who's been with us for about 5 years. She doesn't want her name shared because she doesn't feel like she's 100. She doesn't think it's anybody's business that she's turning 100. But we will be going out and making recognition to her later this week to celebrate that.
Surprised she admitted it too.
Well, as part of our system, we have to collect their date of birth. But yeah, she was like, "What do you mean 100?"
Okay, any questions for Sarah?
Sir, I have one.
Yes.
I got a letter from the St. Luke's group up off 481. Not St. Luke's, the senior daycare
Mm-hmm.
that they're closing.
Yeah.
Is there any others around for that?
St. Luke's do have one. It's a medical day model, and that's the only other one here in Oswego County. Yeah.
And the one that was closing is at
It's at Seneca Hill.
Seneca.
Yep. Yeah.
That sounds like it could be a big loss.
Yeah, that's one of the things that once we have our space over there, not the medical day, but something we might look into. I'd like to get a respite program and see if we can get some organizations that might want to be able to utilize the space on the days that we're not having a congregate meal site to come in and have. It's something that I will explore. Certainly insurance is a big issue with that. but it is something that is needed in the community. There's not really enough of it here. And even for our social adult day program, we're transporting people to Baldwinsville.
Hmm.
So the medical model, there's one here, there's no social models here.
Can people get trained to be able to do those types of
Mhm.
things through the same program at DSS that we have for,
Employment services.
yeah,
There's a program called REST that we looked into a number of times to get individuals trained, but you have to it's based on a volunteer model. So it's hard to get,
that type of volunteer.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So we've been trying to work in the faith-based community to see if we can get a faith-based community representative to be the lead agency to then get some volunteers. And that's kind of how we're heading to try to get that established.
Okay.
Yeah, the social day hubs are not a good business model when you look at what is provided for reimbursement. What most families can afford to have, they're self-pay. So we're losing them all across the country, really. It's not just
Right.
Yeah,
the medical day hub's a little different, but the social day hub.
right, because they don't have a medical need or necessity for the social day side of things.
And that was the reason they were closing, was because of funding, wasn't it, or just the cost?
Funding.
That's the reasoning they provided, that it was the funding, the reimbursement.
Any other questions for Sarah? Okay, Stacy.
Very busy at DSS. The need is growing. As it gets colder, we're seeing more and more homeless coming through our doors. I have not enough staff to meet the needs. So, we hire people, and typically we're looking at about 50% actually succeeding and getting past probation. And I think it's such challenging work, especially in this culture that we have. Our waiting room is more volatile than it's ever been, with people who are experiencing mental health crisis and issues because of substance use disorder. And so with the lack of staff, it is a challenge for Marty and I to kind of keep people moving along and uplifted. People are putting in a lot of hours, trying to make sure heat apps get completed and moved through a lot of Saturdays. Probably our biggest pressure point with workforce right now is our social welfare examiners. I literally have people putting their heads down on the desk and crying. They're so overwhelmed. And it's so impactful to them to see people in such crisis. So, it's difficult right now. This is not an easy time for DSS. I don't know if you have any questions or anything you want me to address or look at, but.
I think it could be helpful for us to have numbers, what we're looking at for increases in homeless, and where we're able to help place them. And we've started to have our nights below 32 degrees, so cold blue's starting to kick in.
Yeah. All pressure points for us. Yeah. If you look back at the written reports I have provided over the year, all those things are in there. There's really, you can just kind of times however many months it's been since I reported, but I can get a kind of a summary sheet to you so you can see where the numbers are. The issue with some of this, the data on it, I just sent one legislator some data, is that you might see, oh wow, financial assistance, what you think of as cash assistance. We really have been pretty much trending slowly down, more and more people are coming off. The untold story is how many people are actually coming in, and you have to look at applications. We're seeing more and more applications. People are feeling the economy now, but they're not actually eligible. They're not, their income isn't low enough. So,
Do you foresee New York State changing the rules because of inflation?
well, we've gone through a lot of different things, like our rules with financial assistance, cash assistance. They haven't increased a housing allotment to pay rent in 20 years. So where are our social welfare examiners going to help someone find some place to live on $189 a month? Now they're giving us these rental supplements. I talked to you about that a month or two ago, because we're starting to feel like we're going to be another HUD agency, right? We have to keep track of all this. I've got depleted staff and they want to give us more rental supplements. So forget the rental supplements, just give us a cash allotment for rent that will actually get someone into a safe and secure apartment. It's not an Oswego County issue. It's all over the state. Every county is struggling with their homeless numbers. Landlords, a lot of them got very shied away because of what happened during the pandemic with the eviction moratorium. So who wants to either be a landlord, or if you are a landlord, rent to the struggling middle class and low income people?
Yeah, I sold mine.
Yeah.
I had 4-unit. I couldn't deal with it with 2 people not paying rent for 2 years.
That's right, and so many that mirror so many landlords that we've worked with in the past. And so yeah, it's difficult right now, and please know that I speak very clearly and assertively with the state. When I am advocating for the needs of the poor. And I know it costs.
We've got a letter from the senator here, and said he'd help in any way. So, that might be, no, I'm serious, we should give him a call.
Yeah, I'm sure the senator is very well aware of our issues, because it mirrors everyone else. Yeah, the issue is that the state doesn't prioritize the needs of our most vulnerable, the poorest of the poor, the neediest of the needy. It's not prioritized. I'll give you a little positive to end, though, in my report out, and that is they did build a temporary parking lot in the corner of our, what will be, I hope next year sometime, a larger parking lot. It is full every day, so given the lack of capacity, we're still finding illegally parked cars in our parking lot. And today in our directors group, we also spoke to the need. I'm sorry Jim's not here. I'm going to give him a call though and have him come over. But speak to the needs of the disabled coming in. It's just heartbreaking to see some of these folks struggling. It's just, for a disabled person to arrive in our parking lot and then have to come uphill a wet or slushy driveway, get onto a brick sidewalk, and then go back about half the length of our building to get back in the front entrance, is becoming just more and more difficult. So it's just, the ability for our disabled, elders in wheelchairs and the rolling,
and even moms with strollers. You know, if they don't know, you have to come way up around in by the employee entrance to get back into that area. Then they're trying to carry, you know, diaper bags and things up those front stairs. So once the parking lot is done, heads up. John Bucher always had this vision that it was, he would do a ramp right up the front of the building, so when you park there, you easily see, and that ramp would be heated, so it would naturally melt the snow and ice away for people who have limited mobility or are in wheelchairs. Think about who we serve. Our elders are coming in for, you know, the spend downs that they have when they're Medicare, Medicaid. They're coming in to see us and giving us their payment. Why they feel the need to do that, but they do. And we have moms with babies in strollers, and it's just, it's not a great use.
No way for some sort of a temporary ramp, even.
I don't really know about ramps, so that would be like,
Anything we could do like that would be great.
Are you talking about a new ramp?
a new ramp.
Yeah, you're talking about a new ramp.
Yeah, we don't really have a ramp.
Yeah.
We have a way to get in where you don't have to do steps, but as I described it, it's very awkward.
Yeah, we'd have to have a project to do that, and design engineering, all that stuff to get that.
It seems like it,
I
yeah.
know that is the case.
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
Yeah, not my area of expertise. But if you can do anything to
I
advocate
just
for
think
our
that's,
needs.
that would have
Well,
to be
we're the
done.
ones that would advocate for such a thing.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So,
And more handicap parking spaces are needed too.
Yeah, we need more
Because
handicap parking.
They're almost all taken up by our staff.
Yeah, once we get, that new parking lot opened up, we need to figure out, it was just, we talked about this morning in the director, like, who do you hire to do that kind of stuff? And
what's that?
it's really, in my mind, that's really on, our partners in the UG. You know, that's,
You mean for handicap parking?
that, yes, I would think B&G would kind of be able to look at a parking lot and know how many spaces.
Well,
and all
the
that.
state law necessitates that.
In terms of designing the ramp, redesigning
Right,
the
yes.
building, you can go out to RFP for an architectural firm to do
Yep.
the design. That's the first step, and then once the design's done, you put it out to bid.
And they would also determine the amount of handicap parking facilities parking spaces you could need. It's all by code.
Does anyone on my jurisdictional committee also serve on B&Gs? No. Okay.
Well, on infrastructure committee.
Infrastructure, yeah, I'm on infrastructure, yeah.
Okay, well, maybe that's something you can,
Go ahead, Herb.
Well, the way the parking lot and the building is designed, it's be pretty awful hard to make a ramp to come up there. I mean, you got several steps just to get up in it. I mean, unless you raise the whole parking lot 6 feet, it'd be almost impossible to build a decent ramp. It'd be a long slope if you get in there.
yeah, that's why I
Or
think
a
Johnny
turn.
said it would come all the way up that front of the building.
And then you gotta get people to walk up it, or you're gonna send a staff out to push them up the hill. I mean, it's just the way it's designed, and you gotta make the best you can with it.
Well, I
You
mean, there's
can't-
some very specific rules about the angles of these types of ramps, you know? So, I mean, if it would have to zigzag or something, I mean,
Unless you get an airport that terminal keeps running, you stand on it, it will take you up to the front door. I don't know.
You know, the thing is, with the facilities you have here, I would have to say just off the top of my head, you would need quite a few handicap parking spots. Then you'd have to monitor parking.
Well, you know what, it's not our mission, it's not our area of expertise. All I can do is point out to elected officials and our B&G partners what the issues are, and then we just kind of deal with trying to be as helpful as we can to allow people access into our building. But you know, this isn't the first time I've talked about this issue, but it is, you know, so I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for a parking lot. That was my highest priority. So now I'm going to be promoting the accessibility of the disabled to get into our building. There's got to be a way. There just has to be a way.
I would almost think, one of the things you could do is survey your employees as to who is using a tag, and then you know your minimum number of spots, and designate an employee parking area, and then you add additional handicap parking for the public. Keep them separate, so that the employees who were there all day are not taking out parking spots for somebody who only needs to be there for an hour.
Right.
And in terms of if it's the committee's desire, we can ask purchasing and B&G to put together an RFP just to see if it can be designed. I don't think it's out of ADA compliance. It's just the design is because of the drainage and the ice in the water. It's very awkward, and I think it's a hazard. It's a poor design, but it's there.
Well, I mean, so there is a ramp someplace.
No,
It's not a ramp.
It's not really a ramp. It's typically they go up a sidewalk, or they walk right down the middle of the driveway that goes around behind the building. And both of them have a good slope to it. It's not,
Because
I've seen people
the sidewalk is at the ground level, the driveway level back there.
Can you have somebody from B&G go out there and just take a look again, if it has been since Booker was on with that vision, I mean, then we haven't revisited that vision. Go ahead, Rick.
I think the only way, as it sits right now, you'd have to make an exit in the back of the building. That's level with the floor. You could make an entrance in there. If you pull around, you can make an entrance into the back of the building. That's the only way you're going to do it without having a huge ramp. Because the back is even with it. There's a big raise to get into the building from the back. That's pretty well level back there. And one more thing is, did you get an investigators from the sheriff department going to be signed to work out there now?
for Child Protective Services, because we have our 3 officers.
No, I mean, from the actual investigators from the sheriff's department.
No.
I think there will be. I heard there was going to be 2 assigned out there eventually.
Didn't we budget for that?
Yeah.
I've been communicating with the sheriff's office. We can get reimbursement from the federal and state for security, not for investigators. We already work with investigators through all the law enforcement, for all law enforcement, sheriffs, our Fulton City, our Oswego City, state troopers.
I was under the impression that there'd be a couple working out of the civil service building.
Yeah, that's what we initially wanted.
Yeah.
And then we, as Stacy said, the more was looked into. We initially thought that there would be reimbursement, but now there's not. If they're doing investigative work, the normal law enforcement work, she can't be reimbursed for it. She can be reimbursed for security to the building. So the question is then how do we fund it and go from there.
The deputies being part of our CPS and child welfare operations, we have discussed that. We will get 75% reimbursement, and we will need to await a better recruitment and retention for officers in the sheriff's. That's, he's having as big a struggle as I am when it comes to
every department is.
Yeah.
Every department,
Yeah.
from the highway to you to the sheriff's,
Yeah.
to 911, everybody.
So we should be able to get substantial infrastructure reimbursement for accessibility.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Anything that we build onto the building, we're going to be able to get
Yes.
reimbursement for.
DSS is the only one that I know of that can get, the capital projects funded. It's, you amortize it over time with, payments in lieu of rent, and you're able to kind of go through, reimbursements. And boy, do you have a better memory than I? Was it the parking lot? Didn't we look into it? It was like,
It was like
Yeah.
10 years. It's a 10-year amortization
Mhm.
for infrastructure.
I want to say it was around 70% though.
Yeah.
It was over.
Oh, yeah, it was around 75% of,
Just don't get it all at once, to give it to you in
You
dribs
don't.
and drabs over years.
Yeah, you don't.
Okay.
But we can actually get it figured out and know exactly what we would get, through,
Vanessa.
yeah.
So it's based on, so for example, if a parking lot costs $100,000, you amortize that over 10 years, and that's how you get
That's
reimbursed.
how we get reimbursed.
So same for a ramp.
Yes.
Any kind of work that gets done on this.
I wonder if it's for a temporary ramp though. That would be interesting. Okay, well, good discussion. Other questions for Stacy?
Well, keep cheering us on, folks. We're doing the best we can, and I don't need to tell you, the needs are great in our community. So, and I'm also cheering on my friend. Livable wage jobs is really what's needed.
And the transition is going smoothly to move workforce out?
The transition is going. I don't know if I can say smooth.
It's not officially approved yet either.
Right.
It's, this is where, we
You're
just
voting
did,
on
we
that.
just
You're
voted.
voting on
Okay,
that.
okay, yeah. In progress.
Yeah, next
Okay.
Thursday.
All right, look for the appropriate motion. All in favor of terminating the meeting? Any opposed? Thank you.